We were predicted to have a mid-table finish, but by all accounts, we're doing better than that. Hi there, how you doing? Welcome to my FM24 save here with the My Career series. Thank you for joining me in today's video, which is part number 10 of the save and part number 10 of the first club, which is Spennymoor Town. I say the first club, they might be the only club. Who knows? But my name is Stu. Thank you for joining me in today's video. And in today's video, we're going to be playing against Solihull Moors and Aldershot Town. And if you're excited to see how we get on in both of those games, then don't forget to leave a big like on the video for me. And don't forget to subscribe as well. It's completely free to do so. And you'll be able to keep up to date with all the nonsense that comes out of this face right here. This side of my face is incredibly bright because I've actually got my curtain open. So I'm just going to do that. Probably should have done off camera as professional would, but I am not a professional. I don't get paid for this, I do it as a hobby. So it is what it is. So, since you were last with us, before I ramble anymore, doing quite well. We're not quite as ridiculous as we were last season. We have lost 2 league games, but we are still right at the top, second in the league at the moment. But that's the run of games we've had. Obviously, you saw Morecambe, you saw Woking. Since then, we've done pretty well. Ebbsfleet, Braintree and Buxton, 3 good wins in a row after that. We didn't then draw and lose against Gateshead and York respectively. Then 4 unbeaten, 3 wins and a draw in our last few games. We are doing pretty well. I'm pretty happy with how we're doing. And it's interesting to see the early contenders of players who are kind of playing well for us. For example, Yasin Belal Mahani. He started really, really well for us this season. And I am really, really happy to see it. I say that. I mean, he scored more goals in August than he has in September, but he still played quite well in September. So I'm quite happy with that. Ferguson is a bit of a slow burner. He's doing okay. There's a couple of newer players we've signed as well. Amari Benjamin's chipped in with a goal here or there. Carlos Richards has been good as well. I'm happy with how it's going. Now, there are a few things that are more negative, shall we say. But before we get to them, just a quick look at the league and how it is looking. So currently we have got the kind of one of the best goals for, not quite the best, kind of the joint 3rd or 4th best. Actually, it's quite a few teams lower down who've scored quite a few goals. Our defence has been really good though as well. So our goal difference is 10. But the main thing is the results. We have been getting the right results. We're currently tied with Southend in terms of results. So I'll take that all day long. I'll absolutely take that all day long. In terms of like top scorers and stuff, the only thing we've got on here is Lewis Banks, who by the way is our right back, who is currently on 7 assists. In terms of goals, I don't know whether Ben El Mahani is on here. Glenn Taylor is on here. Glenn Taylor is not the same Glenn Taylor as last season, but he is still plodding along quite nicely. Clean sheets I don't think will be on here. Actually, to be fair, we are with 2 goalkeepers because Dan Hagley, the biggest negative we've got at the moment is that he is injured. The second loss that we had against York, Dan Hagley got injured before we conceded a goal. Not great. Actually, no, that's not true. I think it was after we were 1-1, I think. Yeah, we were 1-1 and then we got the injury. So, I think all things considered, I mean, poor Aaron O'Reilly, on his debut, had to go in goal because he had the best goalkeeper rating. So, yeah, that's where that happened. So, we are currently without our backup goalkeeper. So, playing with our backup goalkeeper, currently without our first choice goalkeeper. But both of them have kept 2 clean sheets for the season. That means they've kept 4 in total, which would put them tied with the best in the league. So, what do I know? In terms of assists as well, do we have anyone else on this list? Glenn Taylor actually is on here. He's been doing quite well with that. But everything else has been quite evenly spread if we have a look. You can see down here, quite a lot of the goals and assists are spread out between our team. You see Lewis Banks' 7 assists there, and Ben El Mahani is just behind my head here. You probably just about see it. 5 goals and 3 assists so far this season. So it is an even spread. Alex Ferguson, not the one you're thinking, has taken a while to get going. He has had a couple of good games here or there, but he's definitely a bit of a slow burner. But again, I'm just kind of playing him because he will come good because he's just that good. We have also signed a couple of other players. You can see one of them there, but I'll just go over it in here. Joe Mendes is the first one that I signed. I signed him from Burnley on loan, free loan. He's come in. Fantastic winger. Taking a little while to get going, but he has scored a goal. And when he has some good touches, he looks really, really good. We've also signed Finley McAllister from Manchester United. I am familiar with this gentleman. I have used him in saves before. Very inconsistent though, which is a bit of a concern, but he is a bit of a multi-tool, so we will use him if we need to. At the moment, he hasn't really endeared himself to me that much with the play that we've seen, but he is here. And the aforementioned Aaron O'Reilly from Huddersfield, formerly of Aston Villa, he's in as a backup centre-back because, well, Yanni, he was one of our best centre-backs last season. I had a warning thing that came up that said he'd had a complete and total collapse of being a footballer. Now, he is apparently still a leading player for National League North and South, but that worried me. So he's on the transfer list. I've decided we're just going to bin him off. His kind of attributes are dropping like crazy. He's only 27 years old. So I am going to try and move him on because that really has worried me. As a result of that, I brought in O'Reilly. I've not really used him much because Burke and Ben Ward have been all the centre-back I've ever needed. And we've also got Lewis Banks who can cover there. O'Reilly can go in there. Staunton could go in there if needed as well. We've got options who can play in there too, so it's fine. Anyway, on to the first game, which is against Solihull Moors, who are having a bit of a shocking season if we quickly look at the league. 23rd place, there's pressure on their manager. We should be piling that pressure on today, and this is the 11 that's hopefully going to do it. It is going to be Popple in goal, Ledger, Burke, Ward and Wood in defence, Dyson and Ravenhill in the middle with Mendes, Ferguson and Richards supporting Taylor up front. I've just realised we've got a Brazilian winger. That's nuts at National League level. I absolutely love that. We've got an international attacking midfield trio. One of them's from Scotland and one of them's from Gibraltar. It's still international. Don't question it. Just go with it. It's fine. We've got an international attacking trio. It's all good. Every cloud and all that. Right, let's get into the game and let's see whether we can pile the misery onto Solihull Moors. Remember, we knocked them out of the FA Trophy last season on our way to glory at an empty Wembley. So let's see whether we can continue that. Our run, it's unusual to see our run like that. Last season we were so dominant that it is weird to see a loss on there, but you can see Solihull Moors. They have actually won their last game though, but they did lose 3 before that, so you'd like to think that we can maybe do something. Their wing choices are Scott Sinclair, who used to play for, I think at one point he was at Chelsea, at one point he was Man City, he definitely played for Aston Villa, he definitely played for Celtic, he's now at Solihull Moors, he must love the Midlands. And also our former winger, Corey McKeown, who fell out with us because we wouldn't give him a new contract. So we have got a couple of familiar faces in this team, actually. It is weird seeing an ex-Premier League winger in an 11 down here. It is obviously possible. It definitely does happen, but still a bit odd. It's the first noticeable one that I've seen. Now, I'm a little bit concerned here because Solihull Moors look like they're up for this and they've gone and scored inside 3 minutes. That's concerning. I don't like that. They've done that very easily as well. I'm not even going to look at their stupid goal. I'm going to encourage the boys. That is very poor. We've had a week. We've had like 7 days, so we're not tired or anything. But Solihull Moors should be doing better than they are, to be fair. They have been up and around this area in the past. They made it to a playoff final one year, so I know that they're a good team. They're just in a bad run of form, but they just need to pick it up. But I don't really want to be the team they pick it up against. Right, we're getting a bit of momentum now, which is good. If we can carry that on and try and get the ball in the back of the net before half-time, I'll feel a lot better about it. I'm going to demand more from the boys because I'm very disappointed with this first half so far. Right, we have our next highlight. Of course, the only highlight we've had so far was their goal, so I would quite like us to get one that is a positive one for us. Right, we head it down. Joe Mendes. Mendes to Taylor. Taylor into Richards. Richards, who's been having a great season so far, continues that great season. He's about to go on international duty. Really nice to see him put the ball in the back of the net before he does so. And it is 1-1. Lovely counter-attacking move from us. Goal kick comes out. We get it straight away. Burke gets it to Mendes. Mendes with a lovely pass to Taylor. And Taylor has been dropping a bit deeper. Even though he's a poacher, he has been dropping a bit deeper. Getting the odd assist. We saw that he's on the assist chart. And he does help us make it 1-1, which is great to see. We are at home today as well, so we really should be hopefully doing well here. But that'll... I mean, I'll be happy with that at half-time, but I would even like it much more if we got another goal. I don't think we will, but we've been dominant since we've kind of realised we needed to wake up a bit. Just a slow burn in the half. Right, Mendes. I'd like to see something from him. Whipping it in, looking for Richards. Doesn't find it. Oh, I thought Wood did really well there. Wood's been very poor, actually. It was such a good signing for us. When we first tried to sign him, we wanted ridiculous money. The second time, not so much. He's a really good left-back at this level, but we have struggled to get the best out of him. He's had 1 or 2 games here or there, and even then, they weren't all that. So we need to have a chat with a couple of players here. Dyson's not had a great game. I might take him off. Wood, again, not had a good game. The others will just tell that they've got to G themselves up a little bit. And we'll try and get a bit more out of them. And then I am going to take off Dyson. Dyson has not been the same Dyson we had last season. So I'm going to bring Regan Riley on. We'll swap him and Ravenhill around. Riley scored on his debut as well, from what I can remember. He was sensational. So we'll bring him on. He has also had a red card as well. So he's been a little bit mixed. I'm not going to lie to you. Right, we have a free kick here. Woody's taking it. Looking to get it to Burke. Burke, he's there, but the keeper makes a great save. I don't know whether it would have gone in anyway. I think he might have hit the post or gone to the side netting, but Great opportunity there for us, but we didn't take it. But it's a great start to the half. We need a bit more of that. A little bit more of that, boys. Come on. I would really much appreciate us to get a win against a team near the bottom of the table, because that will kind of prove our credentials. That's a poor passing. McKeown pass it to Ledger because he's forgotten he doesn't play for us anymore. Taylor's in there with the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper's made a complete hash of it. And it is Glenn Taylor. It is 2-1. And Solihull Moors are back in the position they should be, which is losing. Sorry, lads. You're my local boys, but I'm sorry. Right, Mendes tries to get it to Wood. It's a really poor pass. And McKeown just inexplicably gets it to Ledger, who hasn't played much this season, but he gets it in. And the keeper, oh goodness me, that's atrocious from the defender and the keeper, to be fair. And Ledger's been kept out by the other, I'm still getting used to their names, but by the other right back that we've got, because the other right back has been an assist machine. And Ledger's just done the same thing there. I mean, a great cross, but the keeper should not be bothered by that whatsoever. Right, Ferguson whipping it in, looking for Taylor. Can't quite find him. We do still retain possession. Ravenhill's gone for a shot. What a goal that would have been. Oh, we've been robbed of a worldie there, and I'm gutted. Right, we still have the ball. Richards gets it to Wood, into Ravenhill. Ravenhill looking for Mendes. What a lovely ball that is, into Taylor. It's offside. I can see the flag up. Ah, that's a shame. It's such a good goal. Mendes could have done with an assist there as well. It's Mendes who was offside. Jesus Christ, he's by a country mile as well. Oh, Joe. I called him George. Joe, what are you doing? What are you doing, sir? That's atrocious. Great cross, but his awareness there was so poor. What I am going to do is I'm going to take him off for Harrison Wood, because Harrison Wood's actually been pretty decent for us. What I also want to do, I'm going to leave it a little bit longer, is I'm going to bring on Isaac Fletcher for Alex Ferguson. Because Isaac Ferguson has been really... Isaac Fletcher was good for us last season, but he hasn't got an edge in this season because we've been giving time to Ferguson. So we will make that change. I would like a third goal here, if I'm honest. I'm going to demand a bit more from the boys. I would just like to see us get the ball in the back of the net again. We will make that final change now. Ferguson off. Isaac Fletcher's going to come on. Riley hasn't really had the best of games. Our midfield in general hasn't, but I think we'll be fine. Right, Fletcher can come on and get a few minutes. We come back with Solihull Moors in a highlight with the ball out, and Popple manages to kind of quell the attack, which is good. Right, big ball forward. Richards is never getting to that, though. McKeown now trying to make amends, because it was his loose pass that led to our second goal, but he hasn't really managed to do it so far. But here's Scott Sinclair, and the cross is blocked, and it is going to be a corner. I don't know whether we'll see the corner, but it is going to be a corner for Solihull Moors. It's Battle of the Moors here, by the way. I just realised. Spennymoor versus Solihull Moors. Both didn't name the Moors. Just felt like pointing that out. It's a Moors derby. It's not a Moors derby. It's no such thing. They are running out of time here. I am a little bit concerned that we haven't been able to get a third goal. However, again, we are a newly promoted team. So even though we're doing really, really well, we have to bear that in mind. And, you know, our striker is a little bit ancient. But he's done enough today, and we have won the game 2-1. You could argue we should have won it by more, and we weren't at our best. But do you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it all day long. One thing I am starting to think is we need to start looking at whether we can change to a professional team, because we are semi-pro. Obviously, if we were to get promoted again, which would be nuts, by the way, but it has been heard of. If we were to get promoted again, then we need to bear in mind, of course, that we need to be professional, and that's going to cost money. It's money that we don't have at the moment, but I really, really think it's going to be the thing that will help us, because at the moment, obviously, we're not training as much as some of these clubs are, because some of them have had promotion to League 2, got relegated, but they've already become professional at that point. So, yeah, something we're going to have to think about at some point. But we win the game. That is the most important thing. It keeps us second in the league. As it stands, we are still level on points with Southend, who obviously won their last game. So we are doing well. We are going to come to a head with Southend, in the next episode. I know we're going to play another game. I'm just letting you know now. We're going to play them there in the game in December, early December, against them and Files. That's what we're going to do. Possibly the FA Trophy third round. I haven't decided yet, but we're going to do one of those two. Right, that is that game. Next up is Aldershot. Aldershot are currently mid-table. They're 14th place. They've currently got 16 points to our 26. Again, it's another game we should be winning, but it is, again, away from home. Well, again, away from home. This was at home. That one's away from home, though, so who knows what will happen. But I'll be back with that one in a moment, and hopefully we can get another 3 points. Time for the game against Aldershot, and this is the 11 that we are going to be using. There is one or two changes in there, so I will go through it again. It is Popple in goal, Banks, Burke, Ward and Wood in defence. Banks being the right back who's got all of the assists so far. We've then got Riley and Ravenhill in the middle, with Riley coming in for Dyson. And then we have Mendes, Ferguson and Benjamin supporting Taylor up front. That's Amari Benjamin playing on the wing as an inside forward. I've changed Joe Mendes to an inside forward as well, because looking on here, it looks like it is going to be his best position, apparently, although it's on support. I'm having him on attack because I like him to attack. So we'll see what happens with that, but we're going to do that. Richards would be playing, but he has just come back from international duty, I think, because he's tired. No one else is tired. I don't really understand, unless he had a knock, but I didn't get an email about a knock, so I can only assume he's had an international game squeezed in there somewhere. We are still waiting for Ben El Mahani and Langley to come back, but neither of them are actually that far away, so they will be back soon. So, let's get in and let's see whether we can get 3 points again, this time against Aldershot away from home. Our away form hasn't been too bad this season, but we have also come and stuck away from home as well. I think we've lost one home game, one away game so far, or both away games. I can't actually remember. I'll have to have a double check of that. But either way, Aldershot are in mixed form. We are in slightly better form, I think, as a result of the last game. When we have a look at the board here, yes, we are. We had the loss on there before. Now we do not. Now we've got 4 wins from 5. That's obviously very good going. So let's see whether we can do the same here. Stadium, not exactly looking full. That's not ideal, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We are going to be approaching FA Cup time in terms of the qualifiers soon. We have actually been drawing our first FA Cup qualifier game in the 4th qualifying round against Gloucester City, which should be a winnable game. I am hoping that we can get to the 3rd round again, and then we'll see if we can get lucky with a Premier League team again. Of course, last season we got Chelsea at home, which was not ideal, but we then managed to draw against them to get the replay at Stamford Bridge, which we got battered in, but it gave us £600,000, which carried us through the rest of the season and allowed us to be financially viable. We do kind of need the same thing again this season, if I'm honest, so a bit of a concern, but hopefully we can get a bit lucky with it again. That would be great. Right, Burke looking to get it forward to Banks. He does so. Banks now looking for an option to cross it to. Gets it in, looking for Amari Benjamin. And Amari Benjamin is there. And that is the benefit of Benjamin being there as opposed to anyone else, because he is a striker by day. By night, he's a winger. That makes no sense. You get my point, though. He's normally a striker. It's just his finishing's not very good. But in that position, it's more about his heading. And I don't think his heading is too bad. But he just takes up the right position, heads it down. Dewhurst can't get onto it. And it is 1-0 to Spennymoor. Get in there, boys. Excellent. That's exactly what I wanted from Amari Benjamin when we signed him. I didn't sign him to be a striker, although I have been using him as a backup one recently because he's just better than Harris. But he has actually been looking really tasty when we brought him on in the wings more than anything. Right, Banks is going to go for a shot here. No, he gets it to Mendes, and Mendes fluffs his lines completely. Great positional play from Mendes to get into that area, but his shooting is just not up to snuff on that particular occasion. His finishing is 10. It's not the worst in the world, but it's certainly not very good. But I would have expected him to maybe hit the target from there. Maybe it's his composure. I don't know how high his composure is, to be fair. I would assume from that, it's not very high. Taylor does some absolutely brilliant work there, getting the ball back. Some great work from him. It's like watching Harry Kane, if he was older and not as good. Right, Mendes again getting in a good position, just can't do anything there. Riley with the ball, going for a worldie. I tell you what, he scored one like that already this season. He looks like he could be a bit of a box threat from the edge, just smacking the ball as hard as he can, which is good to see. He's also a bit of a threat in getting yellow cards, so we will tell him to calm down a bit. We could be one or two more goals up. We could be 2 or 3-0 to the good at this point, but we haven't been able to convert all of our chances. That has been a bit of a problem of ours, but it hasn't bitten us just yet. But it's another lacklustre performance from Ferguson, and I am starting to wonder if we need to have a bit of a fiddle around with him to try and work out how to get the best of him. Maybe we change it to an attacking midfielder as opposed to a playmaker. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, because his best position allegedly is playmaker or enganche. I'm not using him as an enganche, but while we're worried about that, Glenn Taylor's gone and scored, which is fantastic. So Taylor and Benjamin with the goals today. It is Banks with the assist, I think that was as well. Another one to add to the collection. He is a monster on this right wing as a wing back. He's just so good. And Taylor using his aerial prowess there. He's not the best in the air, but he's more than good enough, and he has made it 2-0 in added time of the first half, which is great. I am going to say that to them. Now, Mendes, you've not been good enough. at all. Neither of you, Ferguson. You need to get better. Ravenhill, I think, needs to do better as well. We'll tell Riley he needs to calm himself down. Connor Wood, I'm going to say he wasn't that bad, but he can do better. Ferguson, I don't know what to do with you. I mean, the problem is he prefers to play as a central midfielder, but we don't play with a central midfielder. So that's the issue that we have. I don't know what else we can do with him to try and get the best out of him. Is there anything instructionally? Maybe we get him to hold the ball up. What's his dribbling like? His dribbling's not bad. For this level, it's definitely not bad. Maybe we ask him to do that. What's his passing like? Is his passing actually any good? His passing's not bad, actually. So we'll leave it at that. There's not much else I can really do with him. Now, the other one is Joe Mendes. We need to work something out. I am going to get him to sit narrower, and he's already cutting inside anyway. I'm going to ask him to shoot less often because his shooting, quite frankly, was terrible. What's his passing like? Passing's poor. Shorter passing. I don't want you to be too fancy. What's your crossing like? Your crossing's poor. You're already on cross less often. That works for me. Just run the ball, pass it to someone who's in a better position than you, and put it in. Get them to put it in the back of the net. That feels like the best thing for you, Joe, because your shooting's woeful. Right, we'll go in. We'll see whether that makes a difference, and we have a throw in with Banks. Right, getting it to George. I keep calling him George Mendes. That's not him. Again, the pass there was woeful. He gets it across the box. It's a threatening pass, but he's got to look to see if his teammates are there. Right, big ball over to Benjamin. Benjamin into Taylor. And Taylor this time losing his Midas touch a little bit. Heads it over. We could be 3, 4, 5-0 ahead if we've taken all of our chances, but we have not. And the longer the game goes, the more we have to be concerned about that, because at some point, if Aldershot get a goal, it is nervy time. It really is. Right, Benjamin, getting it to Riley. Riley to Mendes. Mendes. I thought he was going to pass there. He didn't. He's gone for it himself here. And I'll tell you what, that's some Brazilian magic there from Joe Mendes. Lovely stuff. That's more like it. That's the player I signed from Burnley on loan. Oh, that made me happy. Redemption. Absolute redemption. Riley gets it to him. That's a lovely turn from Joe Mendes. And then he just does not let his player do anything to him and then just smacks it into the back of the net from a tight angle. That's a lovely goal. I was a bit annoyed he didn't pass it to Banks. He didn't need him. He didn't need Banks whatsoever. And that makes it 3. And I feel more comfortable now. And are we going to go and get an immediate 4th as well? Mendes has gone for the header there. Mendes is on it now. He's just like, that's it. I'm here. I've arrived, boys. Let's go and get some more. But he didn't. He was a bit of a tame header, actually. But still, that's how it felt. That's what I imagine his internal monologue was. Crawford's just come from nowhere there, by the way. And he's absolutely missed a sitter. We nearly had the justification of needing that 3rd goal immediately after scoring it, because that would have really made me feel a little bit more nervous if it was only 2-0. Right, corner. Ferguson looking to whip it in, looking for the header. Taylor doesn't find him. Mullins now is running. Well, I say running. He kind of was just walking there a little bit. He's now kind of run a little bit, but doesn't really want to run from the looks of things. It is going to be Aldershot in possession now, so we do need to try and get the ball back off of them to try and get an attack going. They are passing it around quite nicely here, but I would quite like us to steal the ball back off of them at some point, if that's okay, lads, por favor. Right, whipped in, and there it is. I'm really, really glad we got that 3rd, because I would be really nervous now. I'm still not particularly happy with the fact that we've let them do that, but it's the first real meaningful attack from Aldershot, or one of the first meaningful ones. They had one a few minutes ago, but there we go. I mean, we know Popple's not the best goalkeeper. He's fine, but he's not the best for this level, so he's been shown up a little bit there. Right, substitutes o'clock. I haven't made any yet, so we probably should do. Ferguson off, Fletcher on. We'll give Fletcher a run out in the team. Connor Woods had a bit of a poor game as well. Ben Ward's not doing the best he's ever done either. I'm going to move Ben to wing back. And I'm going to put Michael Ledger at centre back because he can play there. I don't use him there very often, but he can play there. So we'll do that as a second change and leave it at that for now. I could move Banks to centre back, but he's under 6 foot. And while that isn't necessarily a deal breaker, it isn't ideal, is the way I'll phrase it. It isn't ideal at all. Right, we're into the 80th minute, past the 80th minute now, I've said it. Regan Riley can come off for Ollie Dyson just to see the game out, and then we'll leave it at that, I think. That feels like the best thing to do. And hopefully we can just get a 4th just to tidy everything up. That'd make me really, really happy. Right, Ledger into Riley. Riley's been fouled there. We have got a free kick. Whether we'll get it on a highlight or not is another matter, but we have got a free kick. It'd be nice to see it. No highlight. We've dominated them looking at that. I mean, just possession's been on their side a little bit more, but we have absolutely smashed them, so we do deserve the win. It's going to keep us level with Southend, who I'm assuming have won their game as well, but that is going to be the game. There we go. Time that sentence perfectly. 3-1, that'll do. Again, that third goal vital, because if it was 2-0 and then they scored, all of a sudden the momentum is much more with them, but we managed to kind of stifle them after that and managed to get more chances of our own. Just couldn't get it back in the back of the net. But again, we are playing with a slightly decrepit striker up front, so you know it is what it is. But another good performance from Banks. He might be player of the year already. Ooh, okay, right. Don't praise him again. He's already here for his assist bonus. Like, he's already here for it. Right, injury to Riley, that's absolutely fine. Right, so after those games, that leaves us remaining second in the league. Southend are not slipping up at the moment. They've obviously got the exact same results that we've had so far. They actually lost very early on both of their games against York and Worthing. Funnily enough, we also lost against York as well, don't you know? But they have been doing really well. So they've just beaten Woking, they've just beaten Braintree. So it is interesting. When we get to that game, it is going to be a very, very interesting one, because it is almost mirror images of what's happened in our season. So it is exactly that. The results are exactly the same, and we've even had difficult results against one of the same teams. Right, so we are going to come back for Southend, and then we'll either come back for the FA Trophy if it's an interesting game, or we'll come back for Files, one or the other. And hopefully by then we'll know whether we're into the FA Cup proper third round. I would like to think we can get through to it, and if we can, somewhere around here, that next episode will be for that game, because hopefully we'll get a decent-sized team. Or just a team with a decent-sized stadium, and we can hopefully just get enough people in there to get some money. But that's the plan for the next video. So until then, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, don't forget to leave that like on there for me, and don't forget to subscribe as well. It is completely free to do so, and you'll make me a very happy chap. I've been Stu, you guys have been awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.